So this is the first issue that I noted in the email. So they didn't score this when they ripped it off. So then what happened was it ripped all of the paint, and you can see the paper is all removed and it's just hanging off. So I mean, it can just be easily pulled off. So we can't just paint over top of that. And that's the front entry door. It's the linen door over on the corner of my daughter's door. Let me see in here. Yep. So it's basically where they ripped off all the trim, and you can see they even tried to kind of plaster over that, and there's a huge gap lip, and not sure what that huge line is right here where they textured, but that also needs to be fixed before it gets painted over. Same thing in my son's room is probably the worst, because this is all just, it should have been scored before it was ripped off, because I'm not sure now how they're going to fix that. That needs to be fixed before paint gets applied. The other issue that I was talking about is all this needs to be caulked. So that corner there, the corners there, there, the sides, all this needs to be, there's huge gaps there, massive gaps. And that all should be caulked before the paint happens. In this bathroom, whatever, I'll just leave it, but the texture is totally different in here. This wasn't knocked down. This was a full finish. Whatever. So in here, this is the corner of the bathroom. So that is the right side of the door. And as you can see, this is a crack that you can see right into the linen closet. So it's not, and there's drywall tape that you can see there. So we can't just paint over this. It's raw drywall. The corner is not fixed. So that all needs to be properly finished before we paint. And it's the very same thing over here. See if I can actually see it without the light. But you can, so this is what's on the side of my door. This is the drywall paper, and that's into the garage. So I would say 1/2 inch at least, where they put a new wall in here and didn't properly finish it here. So there's ridiculous amounts of mudding. Not to mention, this is my trim. Can you see all that overspray and texturing? That is very sloppy work and unacceptable. In here, they did a good job putting up the board and batten and caulked right here as it was before. But on this side, none of the caulking is done. All the cracks, none of the cracks are filled. And at the bottom as well, that all needs to be filled so that it looks like this side where you don't see any cracks. And this is the wall by the door, right here. So that needs to be caulked. And just make note that this carpet was never covered. So this carpet is going to need to be professionally cleaned in my living room because they only covered all of this stuff when it was time to do the texturing. None of the stuff was actually covered during removal or remediation or anything. So everything in the house is filled with dust because it was never covered. And then I sent this in, and I haven't gotten a response. The mold remediation guy, Marty, spilt hot wax all over my brand new, I just bought it for Christmas, my brand new electric fireplace. So this is the wax warmer that he knocked over with his HEPA vacuum, he said. And he dumped wax everywhere and then tried to scrape it off. So this whole cabinet that's all scratches, completely scratched off. And when the wax spilled, it spilled all down the side and all over my pillow cushions. So that's wax on there and on here that I can't get off. So I will send in the bill for this furniture as well. These kitchen cabinets should also be removed before we paint, to make sure that we don't damage the drywall, and need to fix that before. So all these baseboards need to be caulked so that there's not a huge gap showing as there is now. These baseboards in the front bedroom still need to be installed. So this is the baseboard that they installed at my son's door. So this is all leftover putty. There's a huge gap there. Let's see if we can get that huge, massive gap there, along with all this excess putty. And that is just shoddy work. Not to mention all the overspray of all the putty that really should be cleaned off, because there shouldn't be all this texturizing everywhere on my door jambs. So this is all overspray of texturizing on the door jambs. This is just the type of work that's been done here. That's all overspray from not being properly prepped, and that's going into my daughter's room. All the nail holes in the trim need to be filled before paint. This is the front entry door. It's filthy. But this is all the overspray all on my door. This is all from being ripped off. Instead of scoring it, they ripped it off. There's huge gaps. There's extra plaster and paint that wasn't cleaned off properly. And once again, tons of overspray everywhere. This is the master bathroom. This is where they ripped the door jamb off. So this is what I'm left with right here. So you can actually see the nail Oh yeah, so this is all, and I just finished this bathroom, remodeled it in November. And that's the lovely scoring job work that this company has done in my master bathroom. Not professional at all. This is in my master bathroom. They ripped out this wall, and when they ripped out this wall, this tile popped off, and you can see it's not even in place. You can see the cracks moving at the bottom because they just set it in place. They didn't fix it or regrout any of this, so it's all open going to my shower here, not to mention all the overspray. But they did not fix this properly. They just shoved it in there and put the board there. And that's in the master bathroom behind the toilet in the corner because they pulled out that whole wall there.